Welcome back to the movie recap. Today I'm gonna show you a 2019 Indian Hindi language action film called Yuri, The Surgical Strike. Spoilers ahead. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The movie starts with Chapter 1, The Seven Sisters, which is set on June 4, 2015. A year before the Yuri attack. In India, in a convoy, a man is singing with a group of soldiers when suddenly, the tire pops, and the driver gets shot. Shootings begin vastly from both parties while a man presses a button that explodes the whole bus. 5 days later, soldiers are on a chopper. When they get the signal, they all come down and land in a field. The soldiers gather and hide in a tree while the two leaders plan the shooting the terrorists. They wish each other luck and separate. The signal comes and they throw a big explosion toward the enemy's camp. With that, it rages the other side, so bullets are, again, being thrown extremely fast. The soldiers blow bombs a couple of times, but the other one gets affected by the terrorist's bombs. He lies on the ground and sees a terrorist member, so he comes at him and a fight starts. They punch and kick each other real hard until the soldier kills the enemy. They celebrate their victory with pink smoke. A dinner is being done after the fight and the two army heads are talking about Major Vihan. They greet the soldiers and talk to the major for him to be put on compassionate grounds. However, he says that her mother has stage 6 Alzheimer's and he wants to spend more time with her before she forgets him. The uppers are impressed and say he's a good son to his mother, then say that he should also take care of the country because it's also his mother. He then gets transferred to an army headquarters in Delhi, where his family lives, and his uppers will arrange her a nurse. Then, in Chapter 2, an unsettling piece where the major and his mother are talking. She requests not to dump her in some hospital. He lets her mother take her pills, then her sister and niece come home as well. They talk and bond for a while, then her mother hugs her, thinking that he's arrived recently when they just talked earlier. After that, the sister decides to take care of the mother while Vihan visits his fellow major and soldier to talk and bond. They comfort each other as their mother's disease is spreading badly. That night, they have a lovely dinner party while reminiscing the past. Vihan then reminds the nurse about his mother's habits. At New Delhi's NSC building, the people are talking about the terrorists infiltrating the border and Ravi River, as well as some incidents that cause deaths and injuries among civilians. The terrorists are now hiding in a building near the police station. In New Delhi's air base, Major Karan arrives together with his team while Vihan arrives at his new work, the headquarters. Her niece's birthday comes, so his brother-in-law, Karan, visits their house. Karan goes to the base again while Vihan continues his work and then comes back to his family. Meanwhile, the war room is stressing out from too much bad news. Vihan talks with his co-worker about her case while having a coffee. She wants to prove patriotism to her dead husband, Captain. Vihan comes home and he couldn't find his mother. He asks the nurse that answers she's sleeping. He then comes running outside to look for her mom together with his sister. With this, he says horrible things to the nurse, but she stays calm, and says she put GPS on all her clothes. As she's also an agent, her team finds her mom on a bridge. The mom comes back and they hug each other. After the Indo-Myanmar operation, the families of special forces are kept under surveillance in case of any threats by the terrorists. Chapter 3, Bleed India with 1,000 cuts, then comes with 4 terrorists entering the Indian base camp with the same uniform. They enter the canteen, kill the chef, then prepare their weapons in a field. The terrorists pour gallons of fuel into the soil, and shoot every soldier in each camp as well as throw grenades. Karan runs with his team as they fight their enemies. He then asks them to cover him as he runs towards the terrorists. He gets on the ground as a couple of bombs approach him, and sees an enemy in the corner. Karan shoots him and then takes his gun. It's connected with dynamite, so it explodes with him. After the incident, a funeral is expressed for him and his 2 mates. His pregnant wife grieves and cries while his daughter offers him the greatest salute of courage. Vihan cries while standing and the mother comforts her family. At the army war room, the uppers are thinking of a wise decision regarding the terrorist attack. They decide not to care about the UN or USA's decision. They must prepare for war and take good care of the citizens. One of them thinks about having a surgical strike, infiltrate POK and annihilate terrorist launch pads, hidden terrorists, handlers, and guides. The place is in Pakistan, but they agree that they will be attacking the terrorists' bases, nothing more, nothing less, and also strike back from Yuri. All of them agree on the operation, and will be doing it in 10 days. In Vihan's house, a doorbell rang and it was Major Karan's mate. He tells him about the planned operation, although he still doesn't know some details. He also gives him his brother-in-law's watch, which has some cracks on it due to the explosion, and talks about his courage and patriotism. Before leaving, he tells Vihan that his lead could be a help. That's a thing he wishes. His sister heard everything and is now crying as she holds Karan's dirty clothes. She cries and griefs while Vihan comforts her. The next day, he goes to his boss saying he wants to fight for his men, wanting to be responsible. He pleads to be with the mission, and promises that he will bring all the soldiers alive. The upper agrees to his request, so, the next day, Vihan is with the lieutenant that's explaining the details of the operation. It will be on 7 days, thus the finalization of the team. When the team arrives, he and Captain Sartaj train them. He also let them text their families, gives the training as an excuse, then gets their phones. The team is raging for revenge as well as Major Vihan. With this, Chapter 4 comes with the title, A New India. In Pakistan, their upper is getting angry with his men because there's a mole in their office giving their information in India. While he's talking to his mother, he gives phone numbers. The intelligence team in India hears the call and lists the numbers, which were location coordinates. She gives it to the uppers to investigate. In the operations room, they are now locating the places. After that, she sees Vihan and tells him her real name. He then apologizes for that day and talks for a bit. Jasmine presents to the team that they've all located 5 launch pads and will still find the 2 more. The upper wants something that can fly up to the enemy's window. Luckily, they see their intern making an unmanned aerial vehicle, shaped like a bird. They decide to let it fly at the field. As it goes well, they need 4 of it to investigate the enemy. Meanwhile, Vihan makes his co-worker their pilot, as she also wants to prove her patriotism to her dead husband. He receives a call from Jasmine saying that they arrested 2 guides, and they might know information about the Uri attack. They will be both handling the interrogation, meeting at the air base. At the interrogation cell, they ask about the handler of the Uri attack. However, the man doesn't seem to answer any of it, so, they punish him. Vihan then turns to his brother, gives him tea, then pours the hot tea on his face. The man then tells them some information that Idris and Jabbar planned, and handled the Uri attack. Jasmine then reports everything to the uppers, the planner, handler, terrorist's place, and caves they're hiding in. They plan thoroughly to not get seen with the 4 cameras from the toy bird to be flown in the enemy's place. The train goes hard together with the preparation of armors and the technologies. Meanwhile, the Pakistani war room is talking about India's chance to strike and they're distracting them, but some of the members doubt it. One of them gets trouble golfing and his friend invites him for dinner. On the other hand, the intelligence and technology team is working with the toy birds prying on the enemy. However, one of them sees it, and tries to look at the toy. The team is being pressured to control the toy while he's holding it. Suddenly, it flies again very well. 2 days before the strike, the whole team is preparing for it hard. Helicopters, armors, and other things such as detailed information about the terrorists. Every team will destroy 2 locations and it will start at 2 a.m. They decide not to do anything so the public won't suspect them of planning something. The commander reminds Vihan about him promising all soldiers will get home alive, and he replies that they will all have dinner after the successful operation. The final chapter has come and it is titled, The Surgical Strike. The days have come, and Vihan is now reminding his team about their plan. Meanwhile, the Pakistani war room are suspecting India due to some pictures at their airbase preparing. Major Vihan then energizes his team by reminding them of the revenge they need as well as the horrible things the terrorists have done. 8 hours before the strike, the choppers decide to air while the soldiers are preparing their armors. They go to the chopper while the technical team goes prepared as well. Govind, the head of the Indian war room, is going through places to also prepare for the operation. Meanwhile, the Pakistani war room member is being drugged for him to say any details, which they did after several times of interrogating. Pakistan team has an aerial radar that can detect any air movement. They launch it and it can tell whether there's an enemy between 20 meters or so. The 2 decide to call the team, and tell Govind to abort the mission because of it. At the Pakistani Air Defense Station, their team is already detecting a sense of movement, so, Vihan tells the pilot to turn around, which they did, and they suddenly lose detection. Vihan suddenly thinks of his brother-in-law, and thinks about their interrogation about caves and all, thus thinking about going by land. They enter the cave slowly while Govind thinks about the GPS toy bird. He tells the intern to be the eye of the team and flies the device. Suddenly, they see people sitting on the rocks. The soldiers shoot them perfectly and continue the operation. The soldiers are now in a forest and slowly open a gate. A man goes out of their camp and the soldiers hurriedly catch him while the other terrorists inside prepare their weapons. Lots of shots and explosions are done while being cautious. They shoot every terrorist, and then light up the whole location to start a fire. The first operation was a success, indeed, while the 2 teams are also flawless. On the other hand, the drugged Pakistani is being taken home by the couple with the excuse of being drunk. The soldiers cross a bridge and walk through a small neighborhood. Everyone walks, and the lights come off. They arrive at the place and open it very gently as it has a connected alarm. They cut the wires and open the second gate while the other men are climbing through the stairs. The soldiers are quietly going through the operation when a gunshot was freed, so, the whole gang inside wakes up and gets their weapons. The man hurries and shoots every single terrorist inside the building. They exchange bullets, but mostly the Indian side is winning as they plan it thoroughly. Some explosions were made. Major Vihan together with the captain is capturing a guy who tried to escape through a window. Vihan interrogates him as to where is Idris, the one who planned the Uri attack. He cut his toe with a knife, then the guy shouts camera. Quickly, Vihan shoots them one by one. He meets a child who's shaking, holding a gun. He lets him go, then closes the gate. It is now 3 a.m., but his fellow soldiers still haven't found Idris. Thinking he may not be there, Vihan thinks he's there and then shoots each camera again. However, the police are coming as there's someone that informed them. The team tells Vihan about the police, but he insists on killing Idris. The team lets him. After feeling the presence, Idris shoots his wooden door multiple times, but no signs of anything. Vihan jumps through his window and fights the planner of the attack. The major punches him many times, but Idris also gets his way. Idris kicks, punches, and chokes Vihan hard while the major presses his eyes. They fight for the knife. Vihan gets it and stabs Idris multiple times. He shouts as he presses the knife into Idris' chest. After that, he calls the intern to guide their way into escaping. The police see them, and shoot some bullets, but no one got shot. They continue to run along the woods while the Pakistani Air Force is chasing them. Meanwhile, the soldiers try to hide from a rock or anything to hide from Pakistani choppers. Vihan orders Siarat to shoot the enemy's chopper, and does it while mentioning his dead husband. The signal gets lost, so the team gets worried. Luckily, it gets back and all of them clap for the successful operation done. They get out of a cave. Vihan asks his other team about their status. They all did pretty well with no casualties. Their uppers are very proud of them, especially Vihan. Everyone celebrates. Govind calls his other mates, and tells them the good news. Vihan energizes his team by screaming their victory non-stop. In September 2016, in the Air Force Base, Jasmine looks at the sky as he sees the chopper where Vihan is. They look at each other and smile. They share a very nice handshake. Siarat, the pilot, also gives Jasmine a handshake, and greets each other for a successful operation. Vihan comes home while her family is waiting for him. His sister hugs him tight as well as his niece. He kneels for his mother while she stares at him directly. Vihan then walks back when suddenly, his mother calls his name. He smiles and kisses his mother in her hand. The 30th of September, the date of dinner where Vihan promised, has come. All of the soldiers and agents are there celebrating their victory. The movie ends with all of the team having a nice dinner. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.